Everybody know who this is, right? Who's this? Not just a potato head, it is Mrs. Potato Head, the grandmother. Yes. Okay, the name of my story today is Follow the Rules. Well, the potatoes have arrived back home from their fabulous trip to Paris, France. And it was a wonderful trip. Grandma Potato always wanted to go there because that's where her husband, who died some years ago, that's where he was born. His father was a big fry over in France. And when her husband was a young boy, they moved to Pennsylvania, and that's where he met Mrs. Potato Head, the love of his life. And Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head always talked about going to Paris, but alas, they never got around to it, and now Mr. Potato Head is no longer living. But Mr. Potato Head, the younger, her son, planned this trip, and all 5 of them went. Grandma Potato and Mr. Potato Head, the son, and Mrs. Potato Head, the mommy, and the 2 tater tots, Polly Potato and Hammond Potato. So they all went to Paris. And before they went on the trip, they made 10 rules. Rule number 1, Hammond, you may not tease your sister while we are in Paris. Do you understand? Rule number 2, Polly, you may not be a crybaby. Rule number 3, Grandma Potato must wear her fancy straw hat because it is very fashionable, and Paris is all about fashion. Rule number 4, we will be very busy. There will be no time for naps. Do not be grumpy. Rule number 5, stay together. We want no lost potatoes in Paris. Rule number 6, be kind to each other always. Rule number 7, do not steal anything. Rule number 8, do not murder anyone. Rule number 9, Mr. Potato Head, do not flirt with the beautiful women in Paris. Rule number 10, and this is the most important rule. God made the world. God made the people who live in the world, including all the people who live in Paris. Show your love of God by what you think, by what you say, and by what you do with everyone you meet every day for the rest of your life. Things go so much better when we follow the rules. And here's a picture of Mrs. Potato Head next to the Eiffel Tower. And she is saying, Je suis une pomme de terre. The end. Ooh la la.